Hey buddy, it's Peter, and it is late December and we're all thinking about New Year's resolutions, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Pedego e-bike lineup as a fitness solution for your New Year's resolution. And there's a whole bunch of bikes here that we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about specifically why an e-bike might be the best fitness resolution for you, and I'll go over some of the features on some of these various styles of bikes so that you have a better idea of what e-bikes are all about and specifically what Pedego offers in that lineup. So if you have questions, I want to thank Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals, because when you have a question, I can answer that in the comment section below, but I can also answer that in future videos. And you'll notice a lot of these bikes I've already done individual reviews on, so you can go on my channel and find the in-depth review of that particular bike. But I want to thank Jim Gilbert's because, like I said, if you ask a question right now, I'll be able to come back and get really specific on the answer you want and answer it not just in the comments, but in the video section in a future video that allows us to really expand on what's going on, and hopefully we can build a little community here of all the answers that we need. So make sure you subscribe, and let's get going with the review. So if you're thinking of bicycling for fitness and you're thinking, I don't want to be part of that spandex crowd, that's exactly what these bikes are for. They're not really designed for that. Now there are some more hardcore versions. There's a fat tire bike over here that can really take you off-road. On the far end here, I have a full-out mountain bike, which again, can take you far off-road. But the majority of the Pedego lineup is actually for around town use that can replace your vehicle, that can replace just sort of your leisure time, and makes them practical to do everyday things. And to me, that's the key with these Pedego e-bikes. We know from various studies that people who buy e-bikes use them far more than they would use a regular bike. And that's because sometimes you want to go for a bike ride, but there's that one hill or there's that one section or that's a little bit too far to go. Well, e-bikes allow you to get out and use your bike, and all of those issues like a ton of wind, that one hill or those multiple hills, or the longer distance become no problem on an e-bike. So you can choose the style you like. I like this sort of style right here. We're going to talk about different things. This is more of the traditional bike. We'll talk about that. And then we'll move into some of the non-traditional styles, which add a little bit more comfort, but still just as much speed. So no matter which bike you're on, you're going to be able to keep up with that spandex crowd. And another benefit of that with an e-bike is it allows you to cover more distance. So you're not just doing around the block or something like that. You can go farther and farther out. You can take them on bike racks on your car to take them all kinds of places and tour 30, 40, 50 kilometers, no problem, and in comfort. So let's start with sort of the basics of an e-bike, and then we'll move into some of the different styles and the advantages of each style. So this is the Pedego Avenue. Now the Pedego Avenue to me is the most normal looking bike. You can get it in the low step that I have here or in the high step across here. So this top bar would come across there. This one happens to have fenders on. They're black fenders, and you know, Pedego likes to sort of do fancy rims on a lot of their bikes, so you can see the pink painted rims, and that's because there's no sort of rim brakes on these. They are all disc brakes. When you have a bike that is capable of going faster, has some torque and power to get you going there, you need really good brakes, and Pedego has that across the lineup, really good brakes. So if you want a traditional style bike, the Pedego Avenue is a good one for you, but let's just talk about some of the components that are going to be shared on a lot of these bikes. It has a gears down here, so most of them have a set of gears here and a single chain ring there. You don't need multiple chain rings on the front because you've got electric assist. So you have your gears, and then inside the hub is your hub motor. Just about every Pedego bike, every one I'm going to show you today, has that hub motor. What that means is as you pedal to various levels of assist, I'll show you that in a second, it will assist you with the electric motor. So you can sit there and use a throttle by spinning the throttle and have it go just like a motorcycle, sort of on its own, or you can spin your pedals and have, like I said, various levels of assist. You can choose how much you want, and different bikes are going to give you different amounts. Most of them have 5 levels of pedal assist, and then a 6th, which is throttle only, so the throttle is on, but you don't need it. So if you were biking just regularly, purely for fitness, this is a good bike. It's one of the lighter bikes. It's not that bad to lift up, and it has the ability to completely pedal it like a regular bike, as do all the other ones. But being a little lighter, you could sort of pedal this and it would feel a bit more normal. Now, a lot of time what I do is put in that first level of pedal assist. That erases the weight of the bike, and then you can still speed up with your pedals, but again, the motor is going to do some of the work for you. The throttle is nice as you go up to a hill or if you reach headwinds and those kind of things. And then also, every time it has a motor, it also is wired up to a controller over here. The controller is right by your thumbs. We're going to show you a couple different versions. This is a 3-button version and there's a 4-button version. One is a little bit more advanced, but for the most part, they do basically the exact same thing. We'll get a closer up look of that in a second. So if you like this bike, but you wanted a rack back here, you could put a rack back on here, but let me show you the City Commuter, which is very similar to this. So the City Commuter has a very similar frame design. I chose the low step version of this as well because, again, just sort of to compare. Now, a couple things you gain is instead of having the battery down here, which is where the Avenue had it, it does pop out of there, you have the battery back here with your rack. And that means you have a stronger rack back here. It has a little extra clip back here, and you can put all kinds of accessories. Let me go off camera for 1 second here. I'll show you one version of accessories. There's plenty more. If you have a small pet, you can even take them in there. Of course, this straps up and secures, but you know, that's kind of cool. But you've got some ability to take things here with lots of strength. Nice big back light here. And again, motor's still there, gears are still there. This one has an extra chain cover. So the other one had a chain ring on the inside and the outside of the chain, but it was open on top. This one covers it completely. So if you're wearing pants or anything else, shoelaces, it definitely will stay out, although really it'll stay out of the Avenue as well. The big benefit of moving to the City Commuter is this bigger, more comfortable seat. So you, instead of having the traditional biking style seat, you sit a little bit more square and upright on this bike and you have a big plush seat. You can get suspension seat posts. This one has that as well. And this one also has a swept back handlebars. So the other one is more like a traditional mountain bike or City Commuter type bike. The City Commuter itself has a little bit more of a swept back version here. And then the other difference is you can go from mechanical disc brakes to hydraulic disc brakes. The hydraulics have a little bit better feel. They have a little bit more power. It's a step up. It depends on what you're looking for, but that's kind of what you get here. The biggest thing with the City Commuter is if you're ever having to share this bike, it's pretty cool. The other handlebar is adjustable with tools, but this one, you can adjust the entire thing with a single clip like that, and it moves it all together. So two traditional sort of typical traditional looking bikes, but they do the same thing. This one has body color fenders, which again are options, little rubber mud flap on the bottom there as well, but they'll feel very similar to ride. It also, the City Commuter steps up with that 4-button controller. Like I said, we're gonna show you controllers a little bit later in the video. If you like the idea of the City Commuter with that comfy seat and sort of the swept back handlebars, you can also consider the Interceptor. Now the Interceptor has a little bit more style to it, a little less traditional straight bars. You've got some more style. You've got the body color fenders matching the body color rims there. I didn't talk about lights, but they have lights on all of the bikes front and rear here, or at least all the bikes I've shown you so far. Big swept back bars here. This one itself doesn't have that quick adjustment, but you can get that as well. And then you can sort of see the style here. As you're going into a more stylish bike, you can style it up with a little bit different luggage. These wicker baskets can be had on the back here. You can set one on top here. You can set one off the handlebars here as well. So pretty cool version of sort of a more stylish version of that City Commuter. But there's also some practicality to some of these low step models. Let me show you the next model. The Boomerang is what this is, and this is extremely popular. It has a very strong frame, but it goes very, very low. So again, these low step models, you're literally stepping below the chain here to come across. So it's very, very stable to get across and in and out of this bike, which makes it very popular. It also feels very solid. You still have that single adjustment here where you can adjust, like I said, the handlebars all on its own, just like that. Bring it up and down wherever you want. If I loosen it off there, let's just bring it down to a normal size. Put that there. You've got the fenders in this one. You've got the hard style rack. You still got the throttle, the gears, the 4-button controller, and everything you need, the chain protector. So the Boomerang's very popular and still got that comfortable seat. But that real difference with the Boomerang is that super, super low step. So you're really secure. You hold both brakes on, you step across nice and low, you sit on the seat, and you're good to go. And because of the geometry of this bike, you can have this seat low enough, with the suspension seat post even, that you can usually just step across and sit back. You don't have to go up to that seat. So really good option there as well. I wanted to fit a high step into the video here, so this is the Comfort Cruiser in high step. Now it's got exactly what it sounds like, a really extra comfy seat over here. I'm gonna have to swing my leg over because it is a high step model. You can get it in the low step model as well, but the handlebars come right back to you. So I'm not reaching like this or like that or anything else. They're right back to you. And because all your weight is on that seat, you've got a little bit of suspension in the seat itself and really good padding, and you are nice and square on here, sitting fully upright. It's a great in command position. And the problem with a bike like this, if it's a regular bike, is you don't have the power because you're not in a real good power position. But because it's an e-bike, even sitting comfortably like this, you've got all the power you need to keep up with people going much faster than you'd think you would be able to go. And it's very controllable. You've got the throttle, you've got a gear shift here on the left hand. One cool thing is right here in the handlebar is a bell. We're going to show you that in just a second. So we're going to work our way over to some more off-road style bikes, but I just want to show you that bell that we talked about here. Pretty cool. It's got a double ding when you pull it right there. Brakes here. You do have that rubber padding on these particular brakes on this Comfort Cruiser, and we'll show you the controller. This is where you control it. We're going to show you some of those controllers now as we move through, and then we'll work on to the off-road bikes, which have a little different style as well. So before we go on to the off-road bikes, let's take a look at the controller and show you how easy it is to use. Now this is the most complicated version and it's still very easy to use. Over here, there's your grip shift. So on these bikes, they have all of your gears on a sort of throttle style grip shift here. But in the controller, it's pretty simple. You turn the bike on and you're gonna see there it's listed miles per hour. You could switch that to kilometers per hour. And again, your odometer down here in miles. This is your battery. So 91%, it's a percentage, but you also have the big bars there. When they start disappearing, you can pay attention to what's going on there. Now the big thing you're going to see is PAS. Actually, before we go there is one more bar graph here that builds and shows you how much energy you're using. So how much the motor is actually drawing. Full power, full motor would be a bar graph that goes right to the top. And of course, this is sort of the off setting, but ready to go. So when you're in pedal assist 0, that's when this number says pedal assist 0, that means you're biking this like a normal bike. Once you go up to level 1, in my mind, that kind of takes away the weight of the bike. And as you start pedaling, you're going to feel a little bit of electric assist. So you're going to spin sort of half a pedal, a third of a pedal, sort of rotation there when you spin around with your pedals. And as you start to spin that pedal, you're going to feel that pedal assist kick in. And then you can dial up the power as you go. So pedal assist 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Level 5, even if you're just spinning and giving it very little strength, it's going to give you pretty much all the power you need. So as long as you just keep spinning, it's basically going to be driving for you. Now, pedal assist number 6 gives you no power again, just like level 0, but your throttle is still active. So let's talk about that throttle really quickly. So now we're filming the other handlebar, the right side handlebar. This works like a motorcycle throttle. So I'm just going to actually change it down so you can see it changes color there. It's actually not focused very well on the color. But if we go to pedal assist 0, so 0 means that when I spin this throttle, nothing happens. As soon as I go pedal assist 1 through 5, it changes from red to green. Now some of these have indicators, some of them don't, but this one does, so this is sort of the more advanced version. So we're at pedal 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's all green. What that means is your bike is going to be assisting you while you pedal, but if you come to a hill, you don't want to switch down gears or anything else, you can just give it some throttle to help you get up that hill and back it back off. It's also helpful if you come to a stop sign or stoplight and you're in too high of a gear, it's too heavy to push. You can spin this throttle a little bit to get you going and you don't have to sort of gear down or change gears down. So really simple to use there. As I go up to pedal assist number 6, that's where you get that blue color. It's not really showing very well on camera there, but it's a nice blue. You can see my hand is glowing blue there. That blue color tells you that the throttle is active, but because it's not green, the pedal assist is not active. So again, you're pedaling on your own. You want to start from a stop. You can give it a little bit to get going, then you're pedaling on your own. So great for fitness. And also, like I said, those little ramp type hills that you come up to, instead of gearing down or changing the whole pedal assist setting, you can give it some throttle to come back up the hill, back off the throttle to come back down. So super simple controls. Everything else is just a regular bicycle. So where things get different is with Pedego's off-road bikes. Pedego is really good about not using one formula on all of their bikes. For instance, their fold-up bike, and yes, there's a fold-up e-bike, uses a belt drive instead of a chain, different than the rest of their bikes. They also have a tricycle, which has a front-wheel drive, same with their fold-up bike. And then they have the off-road bikes, which kind of change things up a little bit here as well. You've got the battery in the frame here as well. It does come out of there, so it's kind of where you want it if you're going off-road instead of back here, which would be make the off-road bike a little rear heavy. Doesn't matter if you're on road, but if you're going off-road, you want to have the sort of weight centralized. No chain cover and no plate on either side of the ring here. Typical mountain bike type thing, just a single chain ring. I guess that's done for weight, but you do have a little holder here, which is going to keep the chain from coming off. Now that matters because you can still use a throttle here and accelerate. Usually when you're pedaling on an e-bike, you're putting pressure on the chain, which is holding it onto here. But you can accelerate without putting pressure on this chain because your motor's back here. And that means if you're going over really rough terrain, your chain could pop off, but it's not going to because you've got a little protector right there. We'll show you some of these pieces up close as well. You've got rock shocks up front, typical mountain bike type stuff. You've got regular size mountain bike tires. There's also a fat bike I'll show you in a second. And then you've got the trigger and thumb shift over here, which is different than most of the other bikes which have a grip shift. So again, different formula, but same idea. You've still got the motor back here. You've got a much wider range of gears than most of the other bikes that we've shown you, so you can really climb those hills both on your own and with electric assist, but you've also got very, very small gears, so if you're going downhill, you can continue to pedal, keep up the pace, and again, it's going to assist you to about 32 kilometers an hour or so, but you can continue to pedal past that if you're going downhill. You've still got pedaling power and plenty of gear as well. So a little different formula here, smaller seat here as well. Let's just show you the fat bike version as well, and then we'll go on and look at a couple of the details here that make these unique. So fat bikes are becoming more and more popular, and this is the Trail Tracker. Now you gain a few things here and you lose some things. So no suspension out front, but you do have those big 4-inch wide tires that are going to absorb some energy as well. This one happens to have the fenders on it here. You do have lights here. There's a light on this side, there's a light on the front here, so you gain some more street-oriented lighting here. You do have the chain guards both left and right here, but you keep the same gear ratios or very similar gear ratios that you had on the Trail Tracker as well. So off-road type gearing here, fat tires instead of the smaller mountain bike tires, same gear shift type of setup over here, same computer there, but again, lights and the chain guard, so you've got options there. There's one other fat bike that's really popular, and it's kind of the value entry in the market. Let me show you that one, and then we'll touch back on some of the pieces and parts and help you decide which one might be best for you and why they may be good for your fitness New Year's resolution. This is the Pedego Element, a really good value entry in the segment, and it's got all the same kind of stuff. You still have an in-gear or in-hub motor here with smaller wheels. That can give you some mechanical advantage with the smaller wheels, but they're still fat tires, so if you're driving on a paved trail and you move on to gravel or grass or something like that, you're going to have a really consistent ride, really consistent feel. You still got gearing in here, not quite as wide as the mountain bikes that we just showed you, but good gearing there, chain guard here, and then you've got the simpler computer up here with a little bit simpler mechanical brakes as well. So this looks like a child's bike, but being a little bit more compact, it easily fits an adult, but it's the kind of thing where if you didn't want to throw it in the bike rack, you could probably fit it in the backseat of your small SUV or even a hatchback. They fit quite well, and it's kind of designed to be thrown in there. It's got a little extra protector over your gears here, so if you were to lay it down in a vehicle or something like that, you could have your gearing protected there. So lots of different options, lots of different features where Pedego really shows that they're thinking about how you would use each individual bike. So that was just a brief overview of the styles of bikes and which one may work best for you, but I'm sure you're going to want to know more, so let's try to walk through. First of all, the point of this video is to show you that there is a style of bike and accessories for whatever style of riding you want to do, including a lot of mixed riding. Just because that fat bike tire had fat tires doesn't mean that you can't take that on the roads, you can't take it on the paved paths, and you can go off-road. So there's a lot of options to do what you want, but you can find what you want in the Pedego lineup. Now let's talk about fitness again. First of all, the bike that's going to get you the most fit is the one you get out on. Because these have such long range with their batteries and relatively quick charging, they really allow you to take longer trips, to replace your car or to consider doing trips that you would have never done without your car. You can now do on these because you're not sweating, you're not working too hard. But if you wanted to get part of a workout, and let's say you want to do 15 minutes of workout or 20 minutes of workout on a half-an-hour ride, you can do that. The other thing with e-bikes is they're just fun. They're fun to ride, but they also take you further places easily, which makes it more fun. The scenery is better. You can go across further distances and see more. You can go places you can't go in a car, and that makes it fun. And like I said, there's all kinds of studies out that say e-bikes will help you get more fit because you just use them more. E-bike riders use them more than even they thought they would for the most part. So if there's a specific bike that maybe I didn't show you enough of the details on that you want to know more about, let me know in the comments below and I'll make future videos on it. Most of the bikes that I touched on today, I've already got videos on that give you a basic overview, so you can make sure you subscribe to my channel, you can search through my channel for the type of bike that you want. But remember, if you want to see any of these bikes again on video, I can make another video for you, so we can do that as well. We want to thank Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. And if you're thinking about one of these bikes for Christmas, there are a lot of them all around here, other parts of the building. There's a whole bunch of them here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. And when they take care of you, they really take care of you here. It is Canada's huggable car dealer, and they treat you the same way, even if you're just buying a bicycle. They really take care of customers. So you can kind of decide which one works best for you when you're sitting on it. A lot of time in a video like this, it's hard to sort of judge which one's best for you, but as soon as you sit on one versus another one, all of a sudden you feel attached to one. That's how the best way to choose an e-bike. So there you go. There's your brief overview. If you're thinking about a Pedego e-bike for Christmas or for a New Year's resolution of getting in shape, hopefully this video helps you out. Thanks everybody for watching.